Hello, welcome back to Music and Beauty TV. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing this video across all your social media. Shout outs to all of my subscribers, old and new. We finally hit 10K, y'all. I'm super excited. I'm on a journey to 50K, so please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and continue to support your girl. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to releasing a lot more incredible content for you guys, so make sure you make your requests, alright? This happens to be a request video itself. We're going to do feed-in cornrows DIY style. I've never done them on myself before, so let's hope this goes well. These are the products that I'm using. If you guys want a list of these products, then look in the description below. This is an example of the hair being separated. If you don't already know, when you do feed-in cornrows on yourself or anyone else, then you need to separate the hair into a lot of small pieces that will gradually increase in size, as you will see during my demonstration. And like I said, this is my first time doing it on myself, so I was super nervous and it took me a while, but I did my best to condense the video down to 10 minutes for you all. I'm going to be doing that somewhat of a like spider style braid where I do the small braids in between the big ones. So that's what I'm getting started with, this itty bitty braid right here. Now I'm going to add hair into this braid just because my hair is pretty fine and it just works out better for me when I add synthetic hair to my cornrows. They last a little bit longer. You don't have to do that, you know, it's your own prerogative, whatever you decide, but this is what I'm doing for me. So since this braid is not going to go all the way down to my nape area, I'm just going to braid it back a few inches and then leave a little bit of the tail hanging and clip it to the side. That way I can come back in and feed it into the braid later on. Now I'm going to show you guys how I'm laying down my edges. I don't have that many baby hairs. My hair is pretty long, even along my edges. But whether or not you do, this is what I chose to do just to create like the baby hair look. I use Gorilla Snot Gel. This is like universally dope. It works on everybody. You just can't use too much of it because it starts to turn white. So I didn't use too much of it, just enough to really grip my hair and, you know, comb it back. I'm going to blow dry it a little bit so that it can dry. I want it to be dry before I start braiding. That way I don't pull the hair back into my braid. I want to maintain this look even after my braids are complete. That's why I'm going to go in with these neck strips and just basically tie it down so that even when I start braiding, it stays in place. Now keep in mind to do better than I did. I was like in a bit of a rush and not really paying too much attention to the fact that when I tied this, I was going to be tying some of my hair into it. That was a little bit painful later on. But you guys will see how I handled that. So now I'm going to get started with the actual braid. I'm using the Vanti Silk Effects to lay down my hair before I start braiding my hair. If you haven't already seen my feed-in braids tutorial, I give more details on why I do this in that video, so make sure you check that video out. Now what I noticed is that since my hair is really fine, Eco Styler Gel actually worked better for me. When I went back in to touch these braids up, I used Eco Styler Gel and I really liked how that worked. But for the sake of you all, I feel like Vanti is more of a product that is universally able to do this job better than the Eco Styler Gel. So try it out with both and let me know in the comments below which one worked better for you. I'm starting this braid out really small and I'm gonna, you know, braid it down a couple times before I start feeding the hair in. Like I said in my feed-in tutorial video, make sure that you gradually add the hair in, gradually increase in size. You don't want to start out way up here with a whole huge chunk of hair unless your hair is super thick at the beginning of your braid, because otherwise it's gonna be lumpy and not a smooth transition and it's gonna look ugly. So don't do it. Now for me, because I wanted to use multiple colors, I started out with black and brown up here and I waited to add the blonde in until I got to the back. And you guys can do whatever creative thing you want to do with the different colors that you're working with. This is just what I did. So if you want your braids to look exactly like mine, then wait until you get to the back to add the light blonde in. And as you guys will see, I'm actually using 3 mirrors. I'm using the main mirror in front of me, I'm using the medicine cabinet mirror, and I also have a handheld mirror that you'll see me pick up in a minute. Whenever I'm doing any hairstyle on myself, I have to use a multitude of mirrors. I highly recommend that you do that yourself because you need to see what's going on in the back of you. And here's me taking off that neck strip, trying not to pull my hair out along with it. I did an okay job. Now once you get to the back nape area is when you want to make sure that you add at least one thick piece, because when you're braiding the hair down, you want to have a certain thickness for the braid down. And add some product to that if necessary so that your hair is not frizzing out of the braid. Now if it were up to me and I would have realized it sooner, I would have actually made my braids longer and thicker than this. But whatever, I didn't realize it until I was finished with my style. Here's an example of me using that mirror to see the back of my head and make sure that my parts are straight. If y'all don't do this, then you might be walking around with some real crooked parts. It's already bad enough when you do your own hair. It's difficult to achieve perfection, but using both mirrors definitely helps. So I'm gonna go in and braid the tiny braid that's going on the other side of this braid, and eventually I'm gonna feed both tiny braids into this one braid. You'll see that happening along the way. And you know, the same thing goes when you are feeding hair into the second braid. Follow the exact same steps as you did on the first braid, but as you go down, make sure that you feed in those little tiny braids along the way so that you can create the effect that I am doing in this video. That's if you're copying me. If you are doing something on your own, then you know, do what you do. Put that tail in. If you guys aren't already following me on Instagram, make sure you do, because I upload a lot of things on Instagram, on the stories on Instagram that I will never upload on YouTube, and it would be cool if we connected there too. So here are my first two braids. I think for this being my first time and doing it on myself, it's not too shabby. Of course they could be better, but let me know what y'all think. Thumbs this video up if you think I did a good job so far, and comment below if you know anything that I can do to improve the next time I do it. I'm definitely putting these braids back in my hair because I loved the way they turned out looking. And isn't it super convenient to have cornrows? It's summertime, y'all. Y'all might want to get on this. So now I'm separating the hair on the other side of my head the exact same way I did on my left side. Now I'm on my right side. And I'm just doing the exact same thing. You guys don't need to see it all the way done because you know what to do. Just duplicate what you've already done so that this style can be symmetrical. This is a 5 braid style, so there's 1 braid in the middle, as you can see right here. So you want to make sure both sides are symmetrical. And make sure also when you add that product that you're combing it through, especially like for me, the middle of my hair is like the kinkiest, so I really got to make sure that product is combed through. Otherwise you have like a bunch of blue gunky stuff that's just sitting on top of the hair. You want it to smooth into the hair to make your braiding easier. And if you have hair that's more coarse than mine, you may need to flat iron your hair first, blow dry it straight, and use more product. Don't be afraid to use more product. As long as you smooth it in, it should be fine. This product is actually pretty good. Check the description below so that you guys can buy some for yourself and test it out. I love the Vanti Silk Effects. But if your hair is like mine, you should be able to use Eco Styler Gel and get it done just fine. Back view poppin'. I didn't show this on camera, but of course I dipped my ends. Make sure that you guys dip and trim your ends before you finish this style. It's necessary. And like I said, go see my other video where I did feed-in cornrows on a client, and I give much more detail on how to do feed-in cornrows. I just wanted to do this video to show you guys doing them on myself. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless.